What's going on, everybody? This is Ash Kumra with Youngri. We are here with my man, Marlon Nichols. He is a very accomplished venture capitalist. He's worked with many amazing brands, including Thrive and some others, which we'll talk about in a bit. But why we're here is because he did a really cool panel today on investments and diversity and other aspects. And so let's just get into it. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Good to have you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man. We've been trying to do this for a while, right?
Yeah.
So tell us, what do you do for a living?
So I help run a venture capital firm that invests in seed stage companies. It's called Cross Culture Ventures, and it's a thematic. We take a thematic approach to investing. So we call it cultural investing, and essentially what we're looking for, big shifts in consumer behavior, economic shifts, demographic shifts, things like that, and try to find companies that are building solutions that that meet those challenges or those emerging trends.
Okay. So what is a deal that comes to mind? I mentioned Thrive, but
I didn't talk about Thrive.
Yeah,
we love Thrive. So one of the themes that we see is the democratization of healthy lifestyles, right? That could mean knowledge about exercising, access to to facilities to exercise, or just knowledge of how to exercise, or it could be about eating better, right, and having good food available to you, right, which has been an issue for most diverse communities and also poor communities, right. There's not a Whole Foods in some random place in the middle of the country, right. So what do those people do to get healthy choices? They just don't have them, right? So Thrive is a great example of meeting that challenge, right? Making it providing all the same foods and products that you'd see in a Whole Foods at 40 to 50% the price tag that you'd see there.
Wow!
And because it's all internet based, like the products are delivered directly to you, so it doesn't matter where you live.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What was the genesis before this venture capital firm? Because you've been doing investments, you've worked with other groups. Like, walk us through the genesis of why this needed to happen, your venture capital firm.
Yeah. So, think about what's happening in America right now in terms of the tanning of America, right? Brown people becoming the majority rather quickly. And a lot of those communities, having not seen any true form of innovation in 20 years or so, right? Just think about the opportunity that could exist there, right? You identify a very real problem for a growing population, right? That's also quite an influential population, and you address that problem. What's happening is you're creating a new market, right? And as you're creating that new market, you have the ability to own it. So there's a huge arbitrage opportunity there, along with you just doing good for those communities.
So do you think the new venture capital, the new type of investment is make money and be good at the same time? Is that what you're kind of saying? Because I like this whole good angle that you're talking about.
I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What is one other company that you're really proud of that you kind of want to talk about? What were the elements that are making them successful? I know you got a whole bunch.
Proud of all our companies.
All of them, but one just comes to your mind.
Our most recent investment is a company called One Preschool.
Okay.
And One Preschool they're calling themselves the Airbnb of early childhood care.
Nice.
Right? So think about a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad that's not actually able to go back to the workforce, right? Because it becomes too expensive to get childcare and go back to work, right? What One Preschool is allowing that person to do, or that family to do, is to open up a daycare or a preschool right in their home. So now you can have your kid there, and you're generating revenue because you're bringing in other children from the community, right? And it's going to be priced at a price point that makes sense for where you live, but the quality of the education, the curriculum, is going to be standard across the board, right?
Wow.
So if you take a preschool in Beverly Hills or a preschool in Watts, the same education, different price points, right? And led by different people, right? So it's just solving early child care is a huge problem, right? In terms of the quality of it and the affordability of it, right? So they're solving a very, very real, very, very big problem, and they're using software to do it. So it's a unique and cost-effective approach at it.
You know, when you said this is the Airbnb for preschool, you're saying?
Early childhood care.
Or early childhood care, I should say. One thing that came to my mind is I often see a lot of entrepreneurs, let's say they're pitching you or pitching other investors, and they're like, we're the Uber for this, we're the Airbnb for this. When is it appropriate to use that analogy when pitching, and when's it not appropriate? Because you must be hearing some pitches and you're like, okay, guys, it's not really that, or don't do that, right?
Yeah, I think it's when it really makes sense, right?
Okay.
So, you know, what is Airbnb, right? It's people opening up their homes as kind of hotels or bed and breakfasts, right? Without actually running a bread and breakfast or having to deal with the operational overhead of doing that. This is exactly what they're doing, but for early childhood care.
Yeah.
So it's one-to-one, right?
Okay.
So it makes sense. You know, where you just don't want to be silly with it, right?
Yeah.
Where it makes sense, do it and move away from it. But no one's going to get an investment or have an investment rejected on their one-line statement, right? If it's interesting, we're going to talk about it. You know, first conversation is probably going to be a half an hour to 45 minutes, and if it's still interesting at that point, then we'll have more conversations.
One last question on your investment hat before we get into why you're here for South by. What are some industries or sectors or just in areas that you and your firm have not invested in, but you're kind of hot on? You're like, I'm kind of looking for this subconsciously, like you're thinking about it.
I don't know. So we've done a fintech company that's focused on improving the balance sheet of folks that have not so great credit. So fintech. We've done the food space, and we've done access to information in a company like M-Survey that's offshore in Kenya. We've done in the beauty space with Maven. We've touched a lot. We've even done artificial intelligence, a company called Reply Yes, right? That's working with brands and kind of being their platform as a service for discovery and procurement for directly to consumers. So, we've touched a lot of stuff in our almost 2 years already. Probably the one place that we haven't invested yet that remains interesting, but I still think the space is a little too early, and that's AR/VR.
Okay.
Right. I think there's a ton of potential, particularly around AR, but the devices aren't in enough hands yet, right? And I think until that happens, content is going to remain limited, right? Because who's gonna spend the time to build a bunch of content for a small user base?
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of chicken and egg too, right? Because if content existed, maybe more people would buy these devices.
But couldn't you also say that because it's a small audience, because people I know that are in AR, they're in it. Like they are like that Snapchat audience that's like on it every day. They're just consuming it. They're sharing it. Couldn't you say that argument like, well, it's not a billion people, but it's like a million people, but they're really engaged? Could you do that argument? Or no? Or is it that or too early?
I think it's too early.
Okay,
Still.
all right.
I think it's probably 2 to 3 years out. I think what you're seeing with like HTC, Google, and some other folks where they have they're leveraging cell phones, which everyone has, and you're attaching cell phones to these headsets, and that's bringing the price point down for this stuff. So I think that'll get the equipment in more folks' hands. And hopefully that'll spike content creation, but I still think it's about 2-3 years out.
Okay.
Well, and in that space specifically, I think tools to aid in the cost and time of developing content is interesting. I think companies that are doing things around distribution across platform for VR would be an interesting play. I think those are the two like areas within it that I get excited about. I don't think I get excited about a content creation company, and I don't think I get excited about a hardware company.
Okay. So you're here at South by. I mean, you were at a panel just now. Why don't you tell us, people who did not get to see it, what's it about?
So yeah, we just did a panel that was focused on the importance of investing in diverse communities and diverse founders. Me and my company, we're here all weekend and we're doing a few things. Susie Rue, a venture partner on our team, she's going to be talking about the intersection of technology and entertainment.
Nice.
And bridging Silicon Valley and Hollywood. I got another panel tomorrow, which is talking about the intersection of tech and sports. So another really interesting thing for us. And and I think I know I have another one that I'm blanking on right now, and someone's going to be mad. HBCUs. That's a tech and sports one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So today's panel specifically, what was the main theme or thesis that you wanted someone to just absorb when they're listening to it? Like, what's the thing you're like, oh, this is why I needed to attend this? Like, what was the key thing, takeaways?
Yeah, it's that, there are a number of takeaways. I would start with that there's some tremendous opportunities for diverse communities. And my belief is that you have to have something that's very unique, very distinct about either your experience or domain experience that qualifies you to take a venture forward. And so when you think about the challenges that some of these underrepresented folks face in their communities, they truly understand those challenges, right? No one's going to be better to go after those challenges than them, right? So there's a huge opportunity in that space.
Okay. What else at South by excites you? Like, what are you kind of looking forward to outside of the things that you and your team are doing? Anything you want to check out on your own?
For me, it's all about just meeting with other investors and interesting entrepreneurs and seeing what's out there, learning essentially. I've been coming here for I think this is my 4th or 5th year.
Damn, man, you're a veteran.
Right? Some years it's been like come in for one night and do a panel and leave, but I'm here for the whole weekend this time. It's just no agenda, just come and be open and learn.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll find an amazing entrepreneur and company that we can invest in.
Well, that's why we Facebook Live it. Someone might be hearing this, be like, holla at our boy here.
Yeah, come see me.
Well, before I ask my last question, I just want to say thank you for doing what you're doing. I've followed you for a few years now. I mean, I met you before you did this venture capital firm. I saw you when you were doing, the stuff with Troy, and now you're in this new chapter.
Mm-hmm. This Troy's a part of this. So,
I know, but I'm just saying with his venture, his main venture, if you know what I mean.
Okay, yeah.
Just thank you, because we need more of this. I mean, I'm someone who, I don't like to say, I'm an American at the end of the day, but I also have, immigrant heritage, I have Indian heritage. So I see what you're talking about from a diversity standpoint, why it needs to be needed from my own eyes as an Indian American. But, so it's cool that you are investing in both amazing ventures, and you're also trying to find ways to enable people that have a diversity background who might not always have those opportunities. So thank you for that. I think it's needed.
Yeah, no, it's important, and just to be really clear, we never lead with we're looking for a diverse entrepreneur to do this. We're looking for companies that are solving real challenges that are billion-dollar opportunities.
Yep.
And it just so happens that the majority of the ones that we've had the fortune of finding and investing in so far, the majority have been from diverse backgrounds.
Speaking of billionaires, someone asked Mark Cuban when he was like 25, what do you want to be when you grow up? He's like, BBC. You know what that is, right?
No.
Billionaire Boys Club.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You're trying to find the BBCs and the BBWs.
There you go.
All right, so my last question is so Youngry is, our acronym is Young in Spirit, Hungry and Ambition. And we're here to just help every early stage entrepreneur grow and thrive. When you hear the name Youngry, what comes to your mind?
Hustle. Yeah.
Love it.
Young hustle.
Young hustle. You guys get that? Young hustle. All right, man. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem.